and welcome back to Focus Atlanta. Thanks so much for continuing to watch. In this segment, we're going to talk a little bit with author Paige Watts about what's with Atlanta. Paige, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Give me a little history. What made you do this book?
So I have a travel blog and I've been writing about Atlanta for since 2016 at least. And I just wanted to, really dive deep and write a book is just, it's a dream to write a whole book.
Oh my gosh, it has to be incredibly fulfilling, because that's one of those things where you almost never feel like you see the end coming, but to complete a book, like, that's fantastic. Well, tell me a little bit about it.
So I like to think of it as like a trivia guide to Atlanta. It's all the like weird quirks, all the questions that you have, like why are there so many Peachtree streets, and just all the personality of Atlanta, but kind of like easily digestible, like trivia. Like everything's like 2 pages of facts, so it's not like super heavy to read. It's really light and like quick and easy to read.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So for me, being a native of Atlanta, immediately in my head, I think, oh, okay, this is something for visitors. This is something for people who've never been. But from what you're saying, even the natives might get something out of it.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that it has something that maybe natives have taken for granted or didn't completely know. It's very good for newcomers, of course, because you like move here and you're like, I don't know what Peachtree Street. There's so many, and like what even is the big chicken and things like that. So, I think it's good for everybody.
Okay, when you say things like that, again, natives, we don't even think about how the fact that there's 115,000 Peachtree streets. Like, we just, it's just something that we navigate. We know what it is. But you're right. For a visitor, for someone coming to the city, it has to be nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So, for the person who's coming to the city, what can they expect when they pick up the book? Or is it something they should get once they get here, or on, maybe something that they're reading on the flight, on the way here? When do you think they should when would they get the most out of what's with Atlanta?
Probably after they've been here and they've heard a few of the terms, like, inside the perimeter, outside the perimeter. You would read that and you would like have no comprehension of that section until you got here and you like heard people talking about like, oh, well, is it outside the perimeter? Um, so I think, yeah, after you've gotten here and you've maybe heard some terms and you've gone, I don't know what that means.
Okay, I love it. So for you, as you were writing the book, were there still surprises for you? Were there still things that you were like, oh my goodness, I'm so glad that I'm delving into this, oh my gosh, I never even thought about this. What was that thing that kind of even surprised you in this process?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I never like really looked into the history of things like Delta or like Chick-fil-A, Waffle House, how all those things got to be headquartered here. And even when I was looking at like the Peachtree streets, I had looked up way earlier like why they were all named Peachtree, but then I was like, there's also a lot of like ferry streets. Like, where did all these ferry names came from? So I looked into those things too. So there were definitely still a few surprises.
Oh my goodness. And you know what? The whole ferry thing, I never even thought about it. It's not like we're close to any water or anything. So I'm gonna have to look up that part myself. Don't tell me. Don't tell me until I get the book. Now that you've got me curious, I want to figure it out for myself. So tell me how people can get the book, because I understand that it's already out, and maybe stay connected with you and what you're doing, what you're in the process of doing next.
Yeah, so it's at local bookstores, local Barnes and Nobles, and um, online Amazon or direct from the publisher at Reedy Press.
We appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for tuning in to this segment of Focus Atlanta. We'll be right back with more.